All right, party people. This your man Griff. Okay, real quick. First of all, I just want to say grand rises to you. Glad y'all made it. We enjoying ourselves. Enjoy yourself. Thank y'all for liking, sharing, subscribing. Have to see all of those little things for YouTube. And hold on one second. All right. So, somebody asked a question, and it was a great question about signing services asking notaries to put their RON credentials up there. I would assume they're referring to SnapDocs, because SnapDocs sent out an email. Once I looked at it, I was like, this is a waste of my time. The reason why is because I'm not on any of the platforms that they have listed. They also want you to prove that you've taken training. That's not a requirement that you actually have to take training on RON. And then, as I've always asked, what am I being trained in? I've looked at some of these platforms. They charge a lot, $297 for this so-called training. I don't know what they're not articulating what are the areas of education I need to be trained in. So I contacted SnapDocs last night, matter of fact, and I was going back and forth with them about, this requirement, because I was putting my information up there, and then it was like, your training and a certificate to prove that you was training. I'm like, I never got that. I never received any training because I started doing this before there was any of these platforms out there. A lot of the other ones, like Blue Notary and all of that. I'm like, nah, never could get on Notary Cam. Was on, Proof, which used to be Notarized. Tried to get on Proviso. And those are the three platforms that they're saying that you need to have. So I was like, I'm not on any of those. So I was on Secure Signings, I think, at one point. And then Signature X, there's a Sign X one for RON. I was on that, but I'm not anymore. And the only one I use is the Expedite Close, which used to be Doc Verify. And there's no training that they offer, at least not that I saw. I mean, I can go back and look, but it's not even worth my effort to even try to get on with SnapDocs as doing RON, And when I contacted them and explained my situation, that I got over 100 signings that I've done over the last 7 years, all they replied back was, you have to provide the information that's being requested on this link here. I look at the link and it's the same stuff. Give us your notary commission, upload your digital certificate, and give us, who did you get your training from, and proof that you took training from them. And I don't have that proof that I got training from anybody. So I just said, and I just wrote back to them, I said, well, based on that, I won't be signing up. And they never replied back. And don't expect them to. So I ain't got time for that. This RON thing is another big business money grab, money maker for a bunch of people. And I like doing it with the platform that I have. I haven't had any problems. I've had great success. My digital certificate works, all of that. When I download the document, I pull it up in Adobe. It shows that everything's been properly digital signed. There's no issues. There's no issues with what I'm doing. But some companies don't want to use certain platforms, and that's the problem with RON. You got all these different things, and you're trying to figure out which platform to be on. So if you get with Blue Notary, but they don't like Blue Notary. You get with Cyberize It, but they don't like Cyberize It. You get with Expedite Close, but they don't like Expedite Close. It's like, well, who do you like? Okay, you like them, but then how much business is coming to me so I can use that platform effectively? Because I get a lot of business from these people over here, but I'm not getting any from that. That's why I do it sparingly. Now you got the biometrics and all of that kind of stuff, and even though I believe I can do biometrics here in Virginia, I have to double check that. I'm not concerned about doing biometrics, to be honest with you. I'm not too concerned about doing closings for foreign nationals because a lot of times there's a language barrier. That's the main reason. And the person who is doing a quote unquote interpreting or translating is somebody that is involved in the actual transaction itself, i.e. the real estate agent or the loan officer or family member. And although Virginia doesn't have any guidelines on using translation services or a translator, it's relatively known that you need to be able to communicate with that person in some kind of language. And since I can't communicate with you and I have no idea whether I can trust this individual who's translating or interpreting for me, that they're telling you the right thing, I have to back out. So I'd rather not do it and not put my commission at risk, because there's this last minute closing that needs to be done really, really quick. And it's a foreign national and they don't have any of the credentials that my platform wants, and my platform doesn't do biometrics, it's not worth me even messing with it. That's why I tend to still stick primarily with face-to-face. I know a lot of people want to do RON because they like, hey, I can just sit at home and chill. No problem. Yes, you can. You just got to make sure that it's not costing you more. And see, the question is this: which one do you want? Do you want to get paid less, or do you want to spend more to get some kind of pay? How much does it cost? How much is it going to cost you to do RON on a monthly basis, yearly basis? How much is it going to cost you? Okay, because there's a cost, because you either going to be paying a lot of money in order to have the opportunity to do RON, remote online notarizations, or you go out and do face-to-face and be paid a little less. Which one is, how they say, pick your poison? Because if it's going to cost me a lot of money, and then what am I truly netting? And to this day, no one, and if y'all been following me, y'all know I keep asking this question: how do you charge somebody $300 on a RON closing? What is your take-home pay when you're using these platforms? And I've yet to see anybody articulate what the take-home pay is and how it's calculated. Because if you're being charged $15 per stamp and you're doing 8 stamps, I think that I calculated that at $120 of your $300 that you're charging. So the question is, are you charging $300 or are you trying to net $300? Is it $300 gross or net? And if somebody's talking about all of this money they making doing it, then you need to ask them to articulate the numbers. They need to articulate the numbers. And then what I'm seeing consistently is that the signing companies want to pay between $50 and $75 for the RON. Well, if that's the case, I might as well just do the face-to-face. And you're like, but you got to print. Okay, but then I don't have to sit here and be locked down for 3 hours because the person who I'm doing a RON with don't understand the technology. Because that's the other side. See, everybody think that just because it's RON, everybody's going to be able to hop on it. There are people out here who like, I don't want to do it. One of the first ones that I did, the son had to set up email accounts for his parents, because his parents are 90 some years old and they don't use they didn't even have an email account. They not twitting, they not Xing, they not anything. And then they're being told they have to do it via RON. And he was stressing, and we got it done correctly, but it took some hours to do. So every RON closing is not like, oh, okay, you just hop on and then 15 minutes later you're done. That might be the case for proof with what that thing is, their little call center type thing they set people up with, that's making you like a AKA employee. where you sit there in this call queue, and when the stuff come, get the little notification, bing, 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 and then you try to grab it first before everybody else, and you might get $10 off of that. And they said, well, yeah, you can make $25 an hour. So that means I got to sit here for an hour and do 3 to 4 assignments for 25. I could go out and do a $75 closing, $85 closing. I'd rather do that. That's just me. And I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm saying give it a try. And if it floats your boat, then roll with it. If it doesn't, then you have to figure something else out with regards to making money. That's what you have to do. Okay. But I'm not really, with the signing companies, they see that's a market for them to make money. And I still think even more so with the Ron and signing companies, the emphasis is more on making sure that the lender and title company get Ron done at an affordable price for them, not at a increased revenue price for us. I don't believe that's the goal. The goal is, let's find some notaries that can do Ron for this low dollar amount, and we're going to put more costs on the notary. In some cases, depending on the platform, we'll put more costs on the notary so that we can charge you less. So whatever expenses that really need to be incurred, I think that's right, for this here, we'll put that off on the notary by saying, hey, we're going to charge you this, charge you for users, charge you for extra time, charge you for all these stamps you do, ... And you're paying all of this money out. But then they're saying, we're only going to charge you, you're only going to pay you $75. I'm like, I need to know, how am I going to make decent money if I got to pay you for each stamp that I do, and then all you paying me signing company is $75, but I got to pay $15 on the stamps. It ain't going to take long for me to stamp a couple of times before that bad boy is gone. So these are questions you have to ask, instead of like, okay, well, yeah, they somehow sign up for them. I'm like, yeah, they saying sign up, but the question is this: is it really going to benefit you in the long run? I'm trying. There you go. Okay, what in the world? I'm trying. Okay, let me close everything. Clear 75. 75. So that means you only get, so once you hit 5 stamps, that's your $75 gone. So you're making no money if the platform you're using is going to charge you for each stamp, and all you getting is $75 for this order. And you just 5 stamps. How are you making money? They set the price. The price is fixed that's coming from the signing company. The price is fixed that you got to pay out. You have to pay it out, and this is what they're going to pay you. The two don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So y'all figure that out. But right now I'm sticking with the people who I'm working with, and that's it. Like I already told you, expedite close. I've tried to figure out how to get, how do new notaries get on. I have not figured that out. I'm grandfathered in. So if you can figure it out, cool. Let me know so I can share it with everybody else. But I haven't had any problem with the platform. I haven't had any problem with my clients saying that the notarizations are incorrect or not right or whatever. I get in, get out. Boom. I don't get charged for extra time. I don't get charged for each time I stamp. I get a flat fee for each time I use it. I pay it, and that's it. So I haven't had any problems. I'm not paying $200 and $300, $100 a month, per, to do this stuff. I'm making good money off of it whenever it comes across. So that's a great question, but I'm not trying to sign up for them if they're not going to allow me to use my platform. And even if they did let me use my platform that I currently work with, if they're going to tell me, oh, You're only going to be making this dollar amount. I make more than double, and the companies that I work with currently have no problem paying for it because they understand the convenience. And I'll tell you this, doing last minute runs is not always the way to go. Have I done them? Yes. But they are stressful because you're worried that the people who you're going to meet with is technologically challenged. And if they are, then that's a problem. If they got bad Wi-Fi, they got cracked cell phones, they got all these issues. Oh, I didn't know I needed a camera on my phone. Oh, I don't have a microphone. Oh, my speakers are busted. You see what I'm saying? So you have all of these issues that you could potentially come into. And a lot of times on last minute ones, you don't know. All you know is, hey, can you hop on in about an hour and get this done here? Here the paperwork, let's go. That's what the signing comes. Yeah, let's go. Woo, 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 woo. And then you get up there and it's like 3 hours later. Well, why it took you so long? They didn't understand the technology. They didn't do this. They couldn't figure this out. They couldn't pass the ID checks. ... So it's not as simple as people make it seem. And I wish people would stop. They're not lying. They're just not fully disclosing. And I wish y'all would start asking more detailed questions. I keep sharing this with y'all, and I'm just being straight with you. Y'all not asking those questions. You are not asking the questions of these people. You're taking them at face value because you want it to work. Let's be real. You want what they're saying to work, and you don't want to ask any questions, because if you ask questions and you find out that they're not being honest with you and fully disclosing, then that messes you up because, dang, I can't make money like I thought I was going to make. You're still not going to make money like you thought you was going to make, because the truth of the matter is those things that are undisclosed are still there. It's not like the undisclosed is completely hidden from you because you don't know about it. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen. And y'all know I tell y'all the truth about stuff. So if I'm telling you the truth about stuff, they're not even telling you the full story. That should be a red flag. And I don't know why y'all like, hey, Griff. And I tell you, not talking about the person who asked the question, but other people ask me the question, hey, Griff, this, that, and the other, they were saying that. Did you ask them? Nah, I ain't asked them. Why don't you ask them? Well, I don't want to piss them off. So you worried about pissing somebody off that wants your money. You worried about pissing somebody off that's telling you some stuff that you already know ain't the real. That's why you asking me. Because think about it, and I'm not saying don't ask me questions. If you're listening to something from somebody else and your first thought is, let me ask Griff, that's a problem. Because in order for you to get the answer for what they said, you got to come to me, and I don't know what they said. That's a problem, because that means you're afraid, scared to go and talk to that person about what they said. You won't do it because you're afraid of them. I'm not somebody to be afraid of. So I guess you can come talk. Yeah, you can ask me. But if I don't have an answer, I'm not going to give you, I'm just not going to make up something. And I'm not going to spend time researching an answer for what somebody else said that you clearly need to have a conversation with them about. If you can't do that, then you don't even need to be in this business. It's that simple. All right. Y'all have a good one. Let me go do my scan backs. Talk to y'all later. Peace.